Oh, why can I never get comfy? It's so hot in my flat. It's ridiculous. My face is just like sweating. But I need to film a video. Okay, hi. My hair's different. I've had my hair done, finally. I was finally able to get to my hairdressers and get my hair done, which is glorious. So I have a few videos I want to film today, so I'm gonna try and get through them. My sister's coming over later and I'm gonna watch Hamilton with her. I have seen Hamilton since it was put on Disney Plus a couple of weeks ago. I have seen it 3 times, and my sister has seen it once but she wants to watch it again, so she's coming over today and I'm gonna watch it a 4th. No shame, I don't care, I love it a lot. So yeah, just do what makes you happy. So today I thought I would do a fun little book tag. I just like doing them a lot when I need to try and get my motivation back up. It's kind of an easy way to get a video idea and they're just fun. So yeah, I am just going to do a little book tag, and this is the, what's it called? The Buy book tag by Books with Leo. I will link her below. I loved her original video, I love all of her videos, and I just thought this was such a fun tag, so I'm going to work through this tag. There's only like 5 questions I think, so it's not very long, but it's just a lot of fun, and yeah, let's just get straight into it. So the first one is confusion. A lot of people think bisexuals are just confused. Spoiler alert, we're not. But sometimes sexuality can be confusing when you're just trying to figure it out. Name a book character who is also going through a journey of figuring things out. So for this one, I am going to go with Simone from Full Disclosure. She is trying to, she's got HIV, she's HIV positive, and she is kind of trying to figure out the whole world of like boys and sex and romance for the first time, but with this caveat that she has HIV and she doesn't want to tell people, because in the last school that she went to, she was kind of like outed to all of her friends as having HIV, and the whole school kind of bullied her for it. So in her new school she doesn't want to tell anyone, but when she wants to kind of start thinking about relationships and things, it's a big thing that she has to tell someone, but she just doesn't want to. And she's also kind of coming to terms with her own sexuality, and I love it so much. Please read it. I talk about this book a lot, but yeah, I thought this was a perfect one for this, for kind of like her trying to figure out who she is and what's what. Also, for a second one for this one, I thought about also Loveless, Alice Oseman. I am probably about halfway through it so far. I love it so much already, and it's about a girl called Georgia who is coming to terms with the fact that she could be asexual. She doesn't know what ace is. She's never really heard of the term, but she knows that all of her friends are kind of they're getting into relationships, or they're talking about people they fancy, or they're kind of having sex a lot, and she's just like, because they've just gone to uni, they're in like their first year of uni, so she's got people during Freshers Week, like her roommate kind of just spends the night at random people's houses, and she's just like, am I weird for not ever having kissed someone at 18? And she's just like trying to figure out why she never likes anyone in that way. I just identify with it so much. I'm gonna do, once I've finished the book, I am definitely doing a whole video about it and how it relates to me and like how I identify with it, because honestly, it's hitting me right in the heartstrings, and I love it so much. So yeah, those are my answers for that one. The second one is first crush, the first queer crush. Name a book with a character in it that totally made you swoon. So I can't really answer this one. I tried to think about it for ages, but I never really fancy book characters. I can't get that, like when they're just characters on a page. Same with like film characters. I will never fancy a character. Well, the only character I can think of that I've ever fancied is Felix from Orphan Black, which is the weirdest crush. So if you don't know anything about me, I seem to have a thing where my type of men is always gay men, and they're always kind of like really sort of flamboyant gay men. And it's not like they're the only people that I look at a gay man and fancy them. It's always that when I fancy someone, I'm then just like, I realise afterwards that they're gay, and I don't know why it's a thing about me. It always happens. But Felix from Orphan Black is the most kind of camp, flamboyant man you could think of, and I've always just had a massive crush on him, so... but book characters, I just don't get that. I can't, like, have a crush on a book character. I don't really understand it. I don't know if it's part of my aceness that I just don't feel that way about anything, but yeah, so I don't know, I can't really answer this one. The third one, coming out, that moment when you're ready to acknowledge your sexuality. Name a book that made you want to scream and gush at the top of your lungs about it to everyone you know. So I know I've already mentioned Loveless, but that's definitely going to be one of them. I'm going to talk about that to everyone. But for this, I'm going to go with another Alice Oseman, and that is Heartstopper. My most popular video on this channel is my review of Heartstopper. I think my review of the third one is also getting up there into like my most popular videos. People kind of... I remember being tagged ages ago on Twitter where someone was just like, give me a book and I'll recommend someone, like a booktuber who talks about that book a lot, and I was tagged for always talking about Heartstopper. I just love those books so much. I will link up there and also in the description to my videos about it, rather than talking about it again here, because I have talked about them a heck of a lot in so many of my other videos. I'm basically just a Heartstopper stan account at this point. But yeah, for this one, I'm going to go with Heartstopper again, because I just love it so much. There's so many elements about it that I just love, and I talk about it to absolutely anyone that I get the chance to, so definitely Heartstopper. The next one, 50-50. Sexuality is fluid and so is bisexuality. Almost no one is 50-50. Name a book which you're unsure whether you love or hate it, your own 50-50 opinion-wise. Again, this was a struggle for me to answer, because I tend to have very sort of, I don't know, like binary opinions of books. I'll either really hate a book or I'll really love it. There's hardly any times where I'm like in between. Most of my reviews are 4 or 5 stars. Like, I just love everything I read. I think I'm quite good at knowing which books I'm gonna like and reading those things. Like, it's not often that I will read a book that I don't like, and I'm never in the middle of like loving or hating a book. I feel like they're both such strong kind of opinions that I'm unsure of whether I love or hate something. But there are a couple of books recently that have been 3 stars for me, because they're good and I liked them, but they weren't perfect. And the one that comes to mind for this is Opposite of Always by Justin A. Reynolds. I really enjoyed it. I listened to the audiobook and I loved the audiobook. The narrator was great and like I loved the story, but there were just certain elements of it that I wasn't a big fan of. Like, time travel is a big element in it, and I just wasn't a big fan of the time travel element. It just wasn't really explained, and I like... in my logical brain, I like things to have a good explanation, especially if they're like scientific, like time travel. So yeah, I enjoyed it, but I just couldn't get on board with certain aspects of it. But I did really enjoy it, so that was a struggle. So that was definitely like a 3-star, where I really loved it. I loved a lot of the story and the characters, but yeah, just certain elements of it I couldn't really get on board with. And then the final one is community. Finding your place in a community can be hard. Sometimes I feel like I'm too gay for the straight people and too straight for the gay people. But in the end, it's all about finding the right people in your life that love you. Name a book with an amazing group of friends or a community. I've read a lot of books recently where friends are a big part of it, which is great. Like, I want more friendship books where relationships don't play a big part in it and friendships are like a big part of the story. And one book that I loved for this, like romance was still a part of it, but it wasn't a big deal, it was mostly to do with friendships, was The Paper and Heart Society by Lucy Parry. It's all about like a group of teenagers who start a book club, and they end up going on a little road trip all around England to see some of their favourite sort of bookish sites, and they have kind of falling outs, and it's a big roller coaster, but their friendship is like so important to the book, and it's just such a cute little community of friends that all come together. Like the main character didn't know, Tilly I think her name is, she didn't know any of these people before she decided to join this book club. She just wanted some friends who were also into books like she is, and she ended up finding this little community of friends that she ends up just going on this road trip with, and it's just so much fun. I loved it. It's just so, I think it's so great about like to show like how important a community is, and like finding your people that you might not have met before, all through kind of a mutual interest of books. And that obviously kind of relates, I relate to that a lot with being able, like I find some of my best friends just through books, and it's so great to read a book where that also happens, where she manages to find this really close tight-knit group of friends just through their love of books, and it's so great. So that was the tag. That was a lot of fun. I want to do more tags like this where they're kind of personality based, or like sexuality based, or identity, or whatever. They're just so much fun. And thank you to Books for Leo for creating it. Go and check out hers. Yeah, I have a couple more videos to film today, so expect a couple more coming soon, and I'll see you soon. Bye!